Very excited to bring these folks out here from Firefly, from Serenity, and from really the bottom of your guys' fan hearts. Give it up, put your hands together, make a whole heck of a lot of noise. You know them as Summertown, John Maher, Summer Glau will play Rivertown, everybody will play Drag.
My favorite room, it's got the best chairs.
Although it feels like we're about to have like some sort of important corporate meeting. Like who's taking minutes on this thing? Before we begin, there you go, Adam's got that. The thing I wonder, I think Alan told me this once, but I did want to run it by you guys.
What are you taking notes on over there, Adam?
Minutes, yeah. It does say minutes, yeah. Alan mentioned this before, but I'm curious about your input. After the somewhat, let's say, unceremonious farewell from the network for Firefly, did you ever encounter one of the network executives later on at a party or like some sort of social gathering? And what was that interaction like? And did it begin with them saying like, "Oh God, we screwed up. I'm so sorry."
I heard we had high hopes for that show. We have music coming out of the monitor.
Music coming out of the monitor here. I mean, it's peppy. I like it, but. Right.
Thank you. Yeah. I heard them say we had high hopes for Firefly.
Never ran into anyone?
I saw a certain woman who shall remain nameless. And I don't know, she didn't really acknowledge anything, although I know publicly she says, yes, I am the one that canceled Firefly.
You work for her? Yeah. It's,
I gotta be hired by Fox.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just, it fell in a void of the first year of American Idol, and it sucked up all the oxygen, and it was on Friday nights at 8. Skewing younger and just didn't have the time slot. Got to remember that year, there wasn't a lot of real estate on the Fox network. There were 2 hours on Wednesday night and like 1 hour on Friday night. That's all that was available. And that year, Fastlane and John Doe had great pilots, and they won those 2 hours on Wednesday night. Due to their pilots, ours was a 2-hour pilot, and it didn't fit. And it was, you throw it against the wall and hope it sticks sometimes, and
it's a gamble.
You're so reasonable, Dad.
Talk to me later in private. Name names.
Well, I mean, since she just called you Dad, that makes me wonder, like, did you guys, because it was oftentimes, it felt like a show that was against all odds, and it was a close-knit crew, but did you actually develop a very protective nature for one another? I know Nathan very much was captain of the ship, captain of the show, but was there also like a protective nature of one another from, I don't know, outside forces, just making certain that you've got everything you need, etc., etc.?
You remember that first dinner we had with Joss at that really nice restaurant? He sort of said and we had the conversation about how it's all about the work and the team effort. And I think everybody brought that and kept it about that. But there were some young, I was one of the elder statesmen, me and Ron, and we just made sure that everybody tried to be as uplifted and supported, but it really trickled down from Nathan's leadership. I think Alan said this on the panel the other day. Nathan was in charge, he was our department head, if you will.
Yeah.
And we all took our cue off of him, and what it's like to work with him.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said for what's called number one on the call sheet. So Nathan was number one on the call sheet, and I don't think I realized how important and how well he sort of held that title until we moved on to other shows. Because number one on the call sheet kind of sets the tone right? So here was Nathan, knew everybody's name from day one. If he was in a bad mood, you never knew. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Camera was rolling, work, work, work. It was he set this lovely tone on set. Yeah.
And for me, being by far the least experienced actor, I always tell this story about Adam. He told me from the beginning, it won't always be like this, kid, and I've been very blessed throughout the rest of my career, but it has never been the same as it was for my first ever job. I didn't realize what a safe place all of you gave me to make mistakes and to learn how to act, learn how to read a call sheet, learn how to stand on my mark, learn how not to block people's lighting, and how to cry during people's close-up too loud, and I had a safe place, and I'm eternally grateful.
What was your most frequent screw-up early on, Summer?
I mean, you need to be keeping notes. You can't even. I couldn't even say, "Oh, this one time I did this." It was every day I made mistakes, and I didn't realize.
I beg to differ.
Really?
Yeah.
I every day, but I never knew because I felt very safe, and I felt like I was part of the team.
Yeah.
I talk about coming from a platform of love and versus fear, and fear is poison for an actor and their performance. And I think that early on, when I was young, the first movie I did was My Bodyguard, and I was scared to death. But fortunately, I had the same experience on that show that you had on Firefly, because there were people nurturing us, and through the course of that one short season that we had, too soon, you were able to slough off all fear that you may have had, and then you just came from that platform of love, and that's strength in my book. So, kudos to you, kid.
I'm about to throw it to audience questions, and we do have microphones over here and over there. There we are. There's the magic mics right there. So line up and get ready to ask some questions, guys. You mentioned we'll send a microphone up for you. You mentioned that you were watching a couple of the episodes on the flight over here, and when I revisit this show, it really holds up. Not just by the story, but the look of it, the visuals are still feel fresh. And I wonder if part of it is the fact that, as opposed to certain science fiction where there are lasers and more spacey types of things at times, this still felt visceral, and at times kind of low tech, high tech. Do you think that contributes to the legacy of the show, that helps kind of keep it around?
Yes, I mean it's a good theory. I mean I'll agree with you, especially coming to events like this, starting to meet 12, 13-year-old new fan who are just, and I ask them that question all the time. I was like, how does it feel to you? I will watch something from 12 years ago, and it feels dated.
Yeah.
It feels dated. It feels like production value is not up to par. You can just see it's, and I don't feel that way with Firefly, but I don't know if I'm biased because I love it so much. And I say to these young kids, what do you think? How does it, it does, and it's not lame to them. It's not like, oh, this old show. It's like it's this new piece that they're seeing, which, I don't know what that is. I think it's probably me.
It's not. I downloaded 4 episodes, and I only got to watch 2 of them on the plane. One was the pilot, Serenity, and that starts off with a bang with that battle sequence, and it just rolls right into character development. You fall in love with these guys right away, and the cinematography is wonderful. The camera work is great. It's mostly handheld. But the production value is so high, and the writing is so good that it holds up. Also, the reality, and Out of Gas was the other one, but the reality of, what space colonization, exploration would be like. You're going to have horses on the new planets, you're going to have wagons, you're going to have cars too, but it's going to be rough out there for a while until you get to the central planets. And it just made sense. It's so brilliant on Joss's part, the concept of it, that it should still be on the air, damn it. bias.
Summer, any other thoughts about just like the legacy? I mean, and I know it's a question and probably something you've thought about a lot, but like just what contributes to the legacy of the show?
Well, it's something I haven't thought a whole lot about. It's the production value. I always just think about the way that Joss writes characters. You can see one scene and you already really feel like you know these characters, and I feel like Firefly was a great blend of people from all different walks of life. So everyone can connect, and I have a lot of people come up and say, you know, this is the show that I watched with my son, or this is the show that I watched with my dad, and all different types of people can feel some connection to it. You don't have to even love science fiction. I think that's one reason why it's so beloved, all this time.
Kind of something for everyone.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful moments in the production, and a lot of shows don't do this, is they allow the camera to rest on the character, rest on faces without just constant dialogue. Too many shows just are talking and then cut to someone talking and then talking and then talking.
Yeah.
This allows you to know them just by their behavior or a look, and lighting was really important. So it's my kind of cinematography and filmmaking.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys have some awesome questions, and I know you do, because we're going to throw to one right over here. Let's start on this side.
That'd be good.
All right. First up, no pressure.
No pressure.
Stand up and state your first name, please.
My name is Alita.
Hi.
Hi there. I wanted to know if any of you have looked into any of the Firefly fan films that are being created and or sponsored any of the funding campaigns.
I thought you were going to say fan fiction, and that can be a weird rabbit hole to go down. But what about the fan films?
I just saw that animated one.
Yeah.
An animated trailer.
Yeah.
What animated one?
Oh, Summer, you have to get on Twitter.
I have to get a computer.
Ron needs to get a cell phone, and you need to get on Twitter.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
No, some a fan
Yeah, a fan
artist
is animated.
put together this beautiful trailer. It doesn't have any dialogue.
It's yeah.
It needs us to talk.
Yeah. Which I would gladly do.
I always thought that'd be a no-brainer. Do that animated series.
I mean, something.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the thing about animated is it doesn't matter how many years have passed, you still have the similar voice, the same voice that you can channel again.
The voice is the same. It's the body that's changed.
Good question. How about over here?
Hi, my name is Haley. My question is, was there a prop or something that had a lot of meaning for you from the set that you kept after filming Wrapped?
You mean that they stole?
Acquired.
Acquired for charitable purposes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't take that much. I feel like everyone robbed the set, and I didn't realize it until afterwards. I took my boots. I took Simon's boots, which were actually my boots because I came to work one day and was wearing my boots, and Josh said, "Oh my God, I love those boots. Let's get those for Simon." And I had just gotten them, so they ran to the store and bought another pair. So I'd show up in my boots and then put on my boots, and then work all day. So I took those boots and I would, I put them on and lay in bed and cry in a fetal position. My boots. But that's really all I took. And then I donated them to charity not too long ago because.
That's a very practical sort of thievery. Like shoes, you can wear shoes.
Yeah.
Any other theft that took place?
And stop using that.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, didn't you rip off parts of the ship? Or was that Nathan?
I think it was Nathan.
Okay, never mind. I think Alan and Nathan,
Alan had the red button.
took just ripped off the set.
As they were pulling you away.
Must take the catalyzer. Must have it. Rip it right out of the guts of the engine. I kept shirts and auctioned them off for charity with the help of the California Browncoats. We raised over 50 grand for charity. Wow. I remember you guys. I took the scripts, the fully collated and updated scripts, and had everybody sign them, and those went for charity. Out of Gas went for like $5 grand. Believe it or not.
Nice.
With everybody, all the cast and Joss and everybody. And what did I take? The shirts, boots, because they were cool.
Yeah.
The little MMA gloves I had, which were in the Serenity. That was the movie. TV show? Yeah, shirts. I got one of the 2 hats, and that went for charity. So I figured, it's not really stealing if you put it up for charity. Right. Auction, that they can't really come after you. The prop department said, well, it's with the charity now. You're gonna have to get it from them.
It's the Robin Hood loophole. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you about. How many scripts did you keep? All of them?
No.
I mean, how many did you keep and had signed before you had auctioned them off?
All of them.
So you, at that point, like you had quite the resume. You've been a working actor for a bit. What was it about this that? Because I would presume that you didn't keep all scripts from all projects you worked on. So what was it that was going through your head that said, I want to keep these scripts and I want to get them signed?
Yeah, I felt that the poetical nature of the writing, Joss's and Tim's vision, it was some of the best writing I'd ever seen, and I just thought, well, I'll just keep them all and put them on my bookcase because there's going to be 100 of them. But after a while, it's on film, and I don't need to read through it anymore. And if I could raise money for charity, I would. But it was just special.
Yeah,
it was just that special.
It's a real testament to the show, but also to the personal connection to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had done. I don't think I was in the mind frame of being. I don't know. Like now, we document everything. Like no matter what set I'm on, I feel like there's pictures. This is that like everyone's sort of documenting our experience, because of social media and all this stuff. Back then I think I wasn't even aware so much that there was sort of a fan anything. The internet was still so new, at least to me. And I sort of I look back and I'm like, I wish I had taken more things than than just my boots.
For charity,
but not my vests. My vests I could have done without. I actually could have burned my vests. That would have been so fun.
You look great in those vests.
Oh God, I hate those vests.
They're so comfortable though.
And that was like,
they're so flexible and
I was
comfortable.
so excited because we were starting to get rid of the vest, because we Joss was doing this whole progression with, I was getting a little more, getting a little rougher, like becoming more part of the crew. And I think like last couple of episodes, I got to like not wear a vest. And, and then we got canceled.
Yeah. Burn them for charity. That would have been like
burn them for charity. Yeah. Just a bonfire for charity.
Yeah. Question over here.
My name is Pixie, and my first thing I'd like to just thank all 3 of you for being here. You're wonderful, and we love you. Firefly is an awesome show. Serenity. I've got all the DVDs. I think I've watched them at least a dozen times. But anyway, my question is for Summer. When River basically was growing up more or less, did you relate a lot to your character? Because you said you were growing up as an actor as well.
I've often said that I feel like River came along at the right time in my life, and that there was something about her rawness and her vulnerability and her unpredictability that just came together at the right time with where I was in my life, and I also drew on who I was as a person as well, and then I'd also go further and say that whenever I read something that Joss has written, I automatically have just an emotional response to it, and almost can jump on the ride and just be in the moment with the way he writes stories. But yeah, I think it was the perfect role for me, and I'm so blessed that I met Joss when I did, and that he took a chance on me, you know, when nobody else would. And I also think that because River wasn't the best at communicating, it worked for a dancer, because I was still a full-time dancer when I booked the role, and so I was able to explore that character through her physicality first, which really was a special experience.
Well, one thing I'd like to add, Summer, is thank you for letting me see your daughter.
Oh, well, thank you for meeting her.
Well, let me expand that question to Adam and Sean, just as far as things that you learned that you added to your toolbox as a performer. How did you guys grow through the course of this show?
Oh, good question. I mean,
Adam's like, no growth whatsoever.
I had no learning curve at all.
We had a great prop department, and it was so rich with
Yeah,
things. Skip Crank and the crew. So I learned to be more involved with prop work and doings. And whenever I would get the script, I would go to the prop department and say, okay, we need this here, we need that little tool there, an apple there, and can I use my dad's switchblade? So that was something that I worked towards, keeping my hands busy, because otherwise it's, just sort of, so I saw what you did back there, and it wasn't cool.
It's tough to do though. That's a skill. Some actors, I wish I could go back and learn from it again, but you.
Jane touched everything.
Yeah. And you're good at eating too.
I realized, I don't even know if I told you this, Adam, a few years ago, my amazingly delicious tornado of a son, who's now 6, just used to touch everything, and I'd be like, just stop, and I was like, what is going on? Why am I being so tricked? And I was like, oh, this is Simon reacting to Jane. Like, stop touching, don't touch it. Get out of my infirmary, stop touching it. Like, poor son, I was like, just stop grabbing that.
That's fabulous. Your son is channeling me. I'm so honored. You are haunted.
But I'll echo what Summer said. It was just because it was such a creatively uninhibited environment. It was so safe, and you can't help but grow, right? And so I don't know if there was like one specific thing. I truly learned the essence of ensemble, right, on that show. And Cargo Bay, some of our hardest days, but funnest days, and efficient days, which was so bizarre when, we talk about like this work environment where these people came together, all of us, like, instantly loved each other as people and mutually respect each other as actors, and we just had a great time. And then the camera was rolling, and we finished our day. It's like hour-long television can go for like 16, 18, 20 hours sometimes, and Cargo Bays were just like, we got our job done, and it was. I sort of marveled at that, and we would take time to like. Joss would be like, we got to go again and get that, that blooper. Like, let's roll it again. Like, and nobody does that. It takes the time to like catch something funny on camera.
And there's Nathan still singing and joking and
Right.
letting us laugh.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's take one.